Greetings and salutations, Ravage Rider here. I want to personally thank you for coming to watch this video. I only hope this video can even remotely show you how amazing the ride, the destination, the culture, and the people of the Northwest Territories is. Your Ravage Rider presents Extraordinary Yellowknife, featuring Peter, driving a 2018 Nissan Titan as a support vehicle. Doug, riding a 2018 Harley-Davidson Tri-Glide Ultra. Glenn, riding a 2018 Kawasaki Versys 650 LT. And Aiden, as pillion rider. We're just getting ready to head off. And here we go. No matter how much I planned for this trip, there's still so many unknowns. I'm quite excited. There's nothing quite like hitting the open road. Driving through Devon River Valley. I'm all adventured up, wearing my favorite boots, my Rally Raid kit, and Icon Super Duty gloves. I have to say, having the Atlas throttle lock was a huge plus on this trip. Check out my Atlas in-depth video. At this point in time, Glenn is probably complaining about his hand getting sore and tired, so I'm pretty much just showing off. The Atlas definitely made for a more comfortable ride. First fuel stop in Whitecourt, Alberta. I've been to the service station before and I'm aware that they won Canada's Best Bathroom in 2016. And they have this candy store, so I had to stop here, of course. Moving on. Next stop in Valleyview, Alberta. Now, obviously I'm a master of hand signals on the motorcycle, but we are using Senate communicators. We stopped for lunch at the Subway. It was such a hot day I ended up switching jackets. I've never been to Peace River before and this looks like a very nice city. North of Peace River the skies looked a little stormy and eventually did open up. The rain wasn't too bad. And we finally made it to high level for the evening. Now it pretty much started raining the moment we left high level. 2 hours north of high level is the Northwest Territories border crossing and this sign. There's a little visitor center. We ran into a few motorcyclists and had opportunity to chat with the staff inside. Next stop was Enterprise, Northwest Territories for fuel. Enterprise is one of those blink and you miss it kind of places, and yeah, we might have driven through and needed to turn around just to find the fuel station. This morning as we were packing the bikes, a fellow traveler had come from Yellowknife to high level the day before. He warned us of the road construction south of Fort Providence. He warned of a lot of mud and gravel. Now it wasn't quite as bad as I had pictured it, but because of the heavy rain, it was definitely the most difficult section of the trip.
You look wet. I am wet.
And while we were in the thick of it, I wasn't having very much fun. It was quite dark, it felt like a full day already, we were cold, wet, and maybe a little hungry. But looking back at this now, I feel a little pride for the accomplishment. The day did eventually turn around. We came to this clearing and we could see this bridge. This is the Deschaux Bridge, which crosses the Mackenzie River. It spans 1 mile or 1.6 kilometers. It was completed in 2012. Previous to this, there was a ferry that you needed to take. Not long after crossing the bridge is the Big River service station just outside Fort Providence. I was not expecting to see this was a Petro-Canada station. I have heard that they run out of fuel here on occasion. They actually had premium fuel. In fact, at this point in time, they only had premium fuel. Without fueling up here makes for a real long ride from Enterprise to Yellowknife. Big River to Yellowknife is 309 kilometers as it is. We talked to a few riders here. They let us know of a great place to eat in Old Town. Speaking of eating, it's about 1:30 p.m. and this is the first real stop we've had all day, not getting rained on. We stop for a bite to eat. We fill the tanks and we fill our belly. Pretty much right outside of Fort Providence was bison. Now you can watch my Kriega video here, but I'm actually pointing to some more bison on the side of the road. And just like your rear view mirror, the bison are a lot closer than they appear. And as I make this video, I am wondering why in the world I didn't even think to fly the drone around a bit. We are now about an hour out of Yellowknife. The Pichoco turnoff is up here. And as we are getting closer to Yellowknife, it was really weird to see people would just build homes just off the highway, find a spot and build a home right on the rocks. I actually had to look up homesteading in Yellowknife on the internet. Lots of people are choosing to live off-grid. We're just about getting into Yellowknife. There's the Yellowknife sign. Very well maintained roads around here. We are heading down that road tomorrow. As we are getting closer to Yellowknife, there is this community. Looks quite new. And then you're pretty much downtown Yellowknife. As we were riding in, I remember thinking that the city looked pretty impressive. Tall buildings, lots of hotels, lots of businesses. With nothing planned, we ended up traveling down the road I mentioned earlier. This is Ingram Trail. We are visiting a friend of Peter's today. Peter lived in Yellowknife many years back and still has friends here. Dave, the friend, lives on Prelude Lake. He also lives off-grid. We spent the day out here. He was gracious enough to take us out on the boat to go fishing. It was super peaceful out here. And once again, just people building homes on the rock. Now this was really cool. After spending a few hours out on the boat, we went for a hike to Cameron Falls. Such a gorgeous area. I had a lot of fun taking the drone out and exploring a little bit. After a full day at the lake, we came back to town for dinner. Bullocks Bistro was the place the fellow bikers at Fort Providence told us to come to. Bullocks Bistro is in a historic building located in Old Town. While you cannot deface the exterior, the interior is full of memories. The food was excellent, so good. It was definitely a highlight. After dinner, it was a short walk up over to Bush Pilot's Monument. Up the stairs on the rocks and you get this amazing view of Old Town Yellowknife. This is the north side, which is called the Back Bay. Look at that. The old man actually made it up the stairs. This is now the south side, and the island is Jolliffe Island. Houseboats line the shore. During the winter months, there's an ice road to drive across. It's really cool. Bush Pilot's Monument was another highlight of the trip for sure. And now, made famous by Tom Cochrane, this is the Ragged Ass Road. I didn't have my 360 camera with me at the time, so I'll revisit this again tomorrow. We had a lazy morning starting the day looking for souvenirs. With downtown Yellowknife behind us, we came back for another tour of the Ragged Ass Road. You turn down a back alley and then turn into another back alley. It's clear the people that live here are very proud residents. This was really cool to see. Previously called Prelude Road due to the large amount of outhouses, back in the 70s after a poor prospecting season, some of the residents called themselves Ragged Ass Broke, and the name just stuck. Here is Old Town. Old Town was the center of early Yellowknife. It was a collection of tents and log shacks with little planning. Here's Bush Pilot's Monument. By 1938, there were many modern businesses and services revolving around mining, trapping, and transportation. As the town grew, it evolved into where current downtown Yellowknife is. Current Old Town is an eclectic mix of historic buildings, restaurants, businesses, waterfront mansions, schools, and many other homes and buildings. Old Town is a peninsula that reaches out into Great Slave Lake. This is Wildcat Cafe, another local favorite. We will have dinner here today. Here's the back bay again. And then here's Bullocks Bistro. And finally this mural, which of course I had to stop to take a picture at. From here we walked around a bit. It's so peaceful. Now this was the August long weekend, which is when the Ramble and Ride Festival takes place. So there was live music, vendors, food, and souvenirs.
You're a part-time lover and a full-time friend. The monkey on your back is the latest trend. I don't see what anyone can see in anyone else but you.
Here is the church and here is the steeple. We sure are cute for two ugly people. I don't see what anyone could see in anyone else but you.
We checked out the Gallery of the Midnight Sun. And then after walking around the festival, we stopped in at the back bay to check out some waterplanes. We unfortunately missed a little plane landing, but we were able to watch him dock. The pilot simply hops out and effortlessly is able to pull the plane into dock. The plane must be a lot lighter than it looks. And now Wildcat Cafe for dinner. Personally, I think the food was okay, but just not as good as Bullocks Bistro. Maybe I was just craving more fresh fish. In the bathroom was this cool picture, made me laugh. As this evening was our last night in Yellowknife, and I don't know why I didn't think of doing this before, but I set the camera up for a time-lapse through the night. Now we're already into August here, and it's no longer 24 hours of sun. The sun set at 10:28 p.m. and rose again at 5 a.m. We left the next morning for home. We're just past the Bichoco turnoff. This is the Frank Channel Bridge. This time I was expecting bison on the side of the road, so I was a little more prepared with the Insta360 camera. Stop for a bathroom break.
One eternity later.
Now, I did not need fuel between Fort Providence and Yellowknife, but I had the fuel and I figured I might as well use it up on the way home. Each bottle is approximately 1 liter, and I calculate is good for an additional 20 kilometers each. That's 40 kilometers between the two bottles. On this trip, I figure I could safely get around 340 kilometers per tank. Adding the 2 bottles would be good for a total of 380 kilometers. Still not good enough to get from Enterprise to Yellowknife, but Peter did have larger jerry cans in his truck for us, just in case. As it turns out, by the time we reached the Big River Petro-Canada, they no longer had premium fuel, only regular, but at least they still had fuel. How you doing?
Cold. It's a little chilly.
How you doing?
Good.
How about you guys?
Oh, enjoying watching the back of everybody.
Yeah, this is a great trip.
Once we hit the road again, there was bison everywhere. The bison definitely was closer to Fort Providence than to Yellowknife. Crossing the Mackenzie River again. This is the Decho Bridge. It's a pretty cool looking bridge. We ran into the same construction, but this time it wasn't raining, so we weren't soaked and all muddy. And because it wasn't raining, we stopped at one of the 3 waterfalls near the border. This is Alexandra Falls. It was already going to be a long day, so I chose the larger of the twin falls. Otherwise, I would have chosen Lady Evelyn Falls, but it was off the highway a bit. I didn't know what to expect with Alexandra Falls. There's quite a lot of sediment that is picked up and goes over the falls. We stopped at the border crossing sign again for a quick drone shot, and then was able to capture Glenn and Doug as they were crossing into Alberta. This was such a great trip. I said in a previous video that I had to check out how bad the bugs were. Truth be told, the bugs weren't that bad at all. Well, it looks like the helmet and the bike tell another story. The mosquitoes and the bulldogs were manageable with insect repellent. I brought a full bug jacket with netting over my head, but didn't use it or need it. Home safe and sound. Well, that's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.